It's day 22 of 100 days of making comics. I'm waiting for this coffee to kick in and get started on day 23. But in the meantime, I'm Jan. I know my hair's a mess. I should think about that first thing in the morning. But when you've had long hair for most of your life, you know, we're just not the gel kind of people. We just expect it to naturally be awesome. When your brain gets fried, like to the point of exhaustion, I had a few good hours off yesterday. Instead of like putting them to good use, I end up staring at my screen and watching the clock go by in increments of like half an hour, and then it was time to get back to work. And this week, no more burning the candle at both ends. A little bit more discipline in going to bed at reasonable hours and getting up at reasonable hours. Because as excited I am staying up very late to work on my comic, which is how I end up this tired to begin with, I do have a very active job as well, working on the floor. So if I want to stay productive working on my little comic book, I need to make sure I get some sleep, because this is otherwise not going to work. I think the past 3 days I've had ideas and I've been writing down ideas, which is also very helpful, but at the end of the day, the thing that matters most is the actual physical page. I'm very excited about finishing up the last bits on page 1, getting started on the next one, working out some dialogue, and with the help of this little baby here, explain to you some of the stories. So I've been rewriting, like I've been writing over and over again the same parts, and every time I improvise new bits, and sometimes it really works out. Like sometimes these I just add a sentence which all of a sudden makes something click, which is awesome. So in this one, in the beginning, there's an illegal mining vessel that comes across a lone wanderer in the polluted wastelands. He is sick with radiation and covered himself with a flag to stay warm. The radiation is a clue to where he has been, but how he managed to travel the distance since he escaped from a rival mining crew, or where he got that pristine ancient flag from, remains a mystery. Next part. Right, so the wanderer found has been on an adventure. The wastelands are no place for anyone to go missing for long without turning up dead, eventually. His condition they dismiss as overexposure to the pollution. He's thrown in with the others as a warning, like this is what happens when you try and get off. Delirious, they get pieces of information from him about the other ship and what they are like. When the radiation sets off alarms, they become intrigued. Remember, intrigue, word of the day from day 21. And only worry about contamination of themselves. The one sister they pick up for examination they want to use against the taskmaster. He has a right-hand sister, they demote despite him. So now they have their pawn by his side. The radiation sickness is important. The flag is a clue. That's my signal instead of a actual signal. The rival mining crew, well, even though they're in this wasteland and like they're by themselves, and there's other crews like doing their thing. Like they're not the only people who are doing this. But I didn't really know how to connect them. They know he belongs, like he's like part of the labor force of a rival crew. And by rival, like I don't mean like enemies, but like going along with the idea of like pirate ships. If someone were to come across something that would mean lots of new things to scavenge, that of course means they would get the one up on the other crew and they get to make the money. This is like a motive for the captain to get very excited. So thrown in with their own band of ragtag kids, the Wanderer of the Waste, Delirious, mentions secret lands to the elder sister, sparking hopes of the kids locked up. Contaminated, she's brought upstairs where management promotes her, hoping to get clues to where the Wanderer has been so they can get the jump on their rival scavengers. Her new position of privilege, friends become rivals, their boss a possible enemy. I want different people to have different motives to be excited about a possible new find. So the captain, the crew, they want new stuff to scavenge. It's greed, like they want money. There's power plays between like the different levels of management on board this vessel that I want to get in the first 10 pages, which is important to me. So this taskmaster being in charge of everything, like he's a serious power on board this ship that even the upper management has to deal with. Like they're not really in control without him. Like he's indispensable. So for them to be able to go like, yeah, your right hand now has to go. We've got someone else for you to deal with. Like we've got someone else because we want someone by your side that is our pawn that we get to control and feeds us information. Like these kinds of politics hint at a larger story that I can put in the first 10 pages, which are nice hooks to get things going and lots of, not drama, but like, so when they bring her up and like make her feel like they do care about her, like these are all things they're gonna use against her. Not against her, but like these are all like little character moments, if you will, where you can see people being manipulated this way, but like they demote the right hand, and that demotion, the person being demoted, who I just refer to as the demoted sister for now, she's best friends with the elder sister, so that's another relationship that is now going to be unbalanced, right? So there's all these power plays. So you've got management, taskmaster, they're vying for control of who's actually in charge. Amongst the kids, there is someone in charge who is now demoted, obviously very angry and upset. The taskmaster is upset because he lost his right hand and now has to train up a new person. Can I? Yes? Thank you, construction crew. I'm rambling. The coffee is definitely working. But the team of kids doing the hard labor now becomes split along lines not only of loyalty, but also between escape and accepting their fate on board. So, different motives. There's one part of the crew that has a motive of greed. They're looking for money, or ways to make money. And the labor force, they are looking for an escape. They are looking for a promised land where they get to go and be left alone. And this wanderer seems to have found it. Which brings us to another point, which, since we're running at 15 minutes already, I'm gonna have to seriously edit this and leave it at that. What I am going to point out is that I started writing the end as well. Spoiler. I started writing the end of the story. I've had a lot of ideas about how this is going to end. And by ending, I mean the first part, because that's all I'm making. How it's going to end, sticking to the alien template. Everyone dies. Sorry. There's going to be very few survivors. Because I'm going to expand the amount of people in the story, and it's not just like 5 or 6 people, like on the Nostromo. There can be more than one survivor, but this is not, like the stakes have to be high at some point, you know? It's not going to be nice. It is going to end up very much like these kinds of movies, a battle for survival against something that is primed for survival. Last page. With almost everyone dead, those taken are sacrificed in an all-out attempt to destroy the weapon they discovered. Realizing their greed has led them here, and why the scientists of old decided to detonate the bomb. The desire to control all in a pursuit of war unleashes a paranoid vengeance that will not die down or ever go back into its bottle once opened. The survivors unleash destruction, forfeiting lives, wealth, and promises. All but a few survive. As their foe is banished into an abyss, taking some voluntarily, breaking hearts, confounding minds. Their battle for survival against an ancient thirst for survival beyond the human capacity for war, without doubt or hesitation. Now, that was all very dramatic. Drama. But what I tried to write down as quickly as I could on my little bus journey. So there's a couple of things that I finally managed to get in there. The scientists of old, the bomb, control, sheer survival. The war it will wage, I wrote down here, is very much out of ancient feuds and hatreds. The hive mind retreats, taking along new allies. The weapon will never rest, even when its creators have been dead for long and descendants generations on changed its original vision. That is a big clue to some of the archetypes I would like, some of the angles I want in this story, which are not going to be in the beginning, but this is like long-term, like, what is this? No, I'm going to leave it at that. This is going on too long. I have too much to edit already. Coffee. See? It's wonderful. And now I'm going to get started on day 23. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully with a very nice little art update. If not, you can hold me responsible. So